Hey, this is Joe Gilder from HomeStudioCorner.com. I want to talk to you today about using a limiter on lead vocals. This isn't something I've done a lot of in the past, but recently with some songs I've been mixing, it just makes more and more sense to me. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's a lead vocal for a pretty big song that I'm mixing right now.
Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that.
So if you just look at this visually, you can see this vocal is a certain volume. This one's a good bit louder. Then it dips down, and then it jumps way up here, and then it just keeps going. There's these loud and soft, loud and soft. So you can hear that, obviously, but you can see it pretty obviously here in the actual waveform itself. So what I would normally do, the problem that this poses for us is in the mix, if you set the vocal at a decent volume, these loud sections poke through the mix too much. And then if you turn it down so those loud sections sit in the mix well, the quieter sections end up disappearing in the mix, especially if it's a bigger mix. This has got a pretty full arrangement to it. Okay, so we don't want that vocal to get lost. We want it to sit on top. And what I would normally do is pull up some sort of a compressor and go to town on that to kind of tame those peaks. So I'd pull it up, something like the Renaissance compressor from Waves, and I would just start tweaking.
Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we will fall. We gotta stay strong, stay strong. Invincible.
Okay, so now it's kind of taming those peaks. It's compressing it pretty heavily, but that's probably going to help it sit on top of the mix a little bit better. But as I was thinking, and I've done this a lot lately, I look at the settings and I'm thinking, this is a lot like a limiter. I've got a fast attack, a fairly quick release, not a super fast release, and I'm increasing the volume of the signal, and I'm lopping off the peaks. And so I thought to myself, you know what, life might be a little bit easier and might actually sound better potentially if I tried doing this with a limiter. So I pulled out the classic L1 in all of its light gray glory, and so I set it up like this. It normally defaults to a release around 1 millisecond. I'm going to set it up here around 60 or 70. And then the other controls are threshold and output ceiling. And if you drag these two blue guys together, it keeps those together, which is what you're going to want to do generally when using it during mixing. So let me turn it on and just pull down this threshold and ceiling and see what happens.
Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we will fall. We gotta stay strong, stay strong. Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we will fall. We gotta stay strong, stay strong.
So if you listen to that vocal and then just watch the gain reduction over here on the attenuation meter, you see that on the louder sections, it's getting slammed into submission, and then the quieter sections aren't being hit as hard. So it's essentially balancing out those levels. Now you can do the same thing with the compressor. I already showed you that, but look how much faster and easier it was to get to that point with just using a simple L1 limiter. Let's take a listen to it in the mix.
Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we will fall. We gotta stay strong, stay strong. Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we will fall. We gotta.
Okay, so that was a little bit quiet because I brought the ceiling down a little too far. So I just brought the ceiling up a little bit. So now the ceiling is at where basically the peaks of the track are happening, and then I brought the threshold down to tame those peaks down to this level. And so now it's doing this, if you take a look at it right here.
Invincible, we are incredible.
If we bypass, here's the volume.
Invincible, we are incredible. There's no way that we.
The best way I can describe that sound is it's in your face. The vocal is not fluctuating and kind of waffling around. The vocal's right there in your face, which is kind of exactly what you want out of a lead vocal, especially in a song like this. So try it on your next mix, throw a limiter on there. Don't overdo it, but I think you might be happy with the results.